Your scale drawing notes, I have two cars. I am told that this first car is 14 inches, the second car is 20 feet. Is there a relationship between the two cars aside from how they look? Well, one is obviously bigger than the other. We are going to figure out their ratio or their scale. If they are proportional, then the scale factor will be 14 inches to 20 feet, which reduces to 1 inch every 1 3/4 feet. I checked that by saying 14 inches over 20. I'm looking for 1 inch is the scale model and how many feet that is in the real car. I cross multiplied and I originally made a mistake and I'm glad I found it. 14 times x gives me 14x. 20 times 1 gives me my 20. Divide both sides by my 14. 20 over 14 reduces to 10 over 7, and that gives me my 1 3/4 or 3/7 feet. So I want to get it in terms of a unit. Therefore, I can say the smaller car is a scale model of the larger car. Your definitions, I'm going to read through them. Scale drawing is a drawing of an actual object with accurate dimensions reduced or enlarged by a scale factor. A scale model is a drawing or a 3D model of an actual object with accurate dimensions reduced or enlarged by a scale factor. So that is huge right here. Accurate dimensions. Everything goes up or goes down by the same amount. Your scale is the ratio of one dimension in a drawing or model to the same dimension on the actual object. So again, there is my scale. 1 inch in this model to 1 3/7 feet for the real car. And your scale factor is the ratio of corresponding dimensions in similar figures. For the second part of your notes, to calculate the scale factor, your first step is to write this scale as a fraction, comparing the model length or distance to the actual length or distance. So our unit scale is the model to the real life. Change the lengths and distance to the same unit of measure if needed, and simplify. To calculate, so I always want to simplify. I was underlining that. To calculate a length or distance on a scale model or drawing, the first step you're going to do is use the scale factor and the given length or distance to set up a proportion. And again, simplify. So I can do the first one and you can pause it and try 2 through 4, or you can pause it and try 1 through 4. This is your call. I'll mention that I'm going to pause it, or that you can pause it at the end of practice 1. So on a map, two cities are 3 1/4 inches apart from each other. The scale on the map is 1 inch to 35 miles. What is the actual distance between the two cities? We're going to use the scale factor and the given distance to set up a proportion and simplify. So I was told 1 inch for 35 miles. I want to find out 3 1/4 inches and how many miles that is. So I'm going to cross multiply and divide by 1, which is just going to give me my 113.75 miles. All right, so take this time to pause and try 2 through 4. And here we go. For number 2, a scale drawing of a kitchen has a scale of 1 inch to 1.6 feet. If the kitchen is 10.5 inches long, what is the actual length? So 1 inch to 1.6 feet, 10.5 inches, how many feet? So we use the scale factor, set up our proportion. We're going to cross multiply and simplify. And I get 16.8 feet. That is a huge sink. Number 3, a scale model of a car has a scale of 2 inches to 5 feet. What is the scale factor? So if I have 2 inches to 5 feet, the first thing I'm going to do is turn everything into inches. So I know that there is 12 inches in a foot, so I'm going to multiply by 12 and get 60 inches. And therefore I can say, dividing both sides by 2, or like simplifying the 2 out, 1 inch for every 30 inches. Number 4, a map has a scale of 2 feet to 4 miles. What is the scale factor? So again, 2 feet to 4 miles. There are 5,280 times 5,280 feet gives me 21,120 feet. Dividing out my 2 to simplify, I get 1 foot for every 10,560 feet.